You knew you were going to die.
Yeah. When I was about 17 or 18, I got a prescription from like a generous doctor for Percocets, and I was taking them when I was competing. And I got kind of hooked on them then. I mean, I was doing anywhere from 50 to 80 milligrams of opioids a day.
Yeah.
I would mix those with other drugs too. I would take painkillers and coke, do them together. I mean, it's just a recipe for disaster. And I was trying to still compete and put on weight as a bodybuilder the whole time. To going into 2012, where I would try to wake up in the morning and eat my breakfast, and I couldn't even finish it. I would just fall back asleep dead on the couch for 4 to 5 hours. There would be times where I'd go to work, I would forget to bring my pills, and I would just be freaking out and need my fix. And I would have an ex-girlfriend bring them to me. I mean, it was horrible. So I knew at that point something had to change, or I was gonna really hurt myself or go to jail.
Your life is probably filled with quite a bit of meaning because you're doing things that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what are those things? Corey Upton, welcome to the Roller Coaster Podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thanks for being here, brother. You, for those who are not watching but listening, are jacked. You look great.
Thank you,
Do
man.
you feel great?
I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
This is I was telling him, it's like my maintenance weight, you know?
Yeah.
Just trying to stay healthy.
Are you like, so how much do you weigh right now?
I'm about 226.
And how tall?
6'3".
And what percent body fat roughly you think?
I'd say like 7.5 or 8. I walk around at.
Like you walking around with abs right now?
Yeah, I'd say pretty lean.
All right. Can we see those?
You really
Yeah,
want me to
I want you to stand up and show. Okay. Yeah. I mean, by
I
the
haven't
way,
shaved or anything.
By the way, he didn't even need to stand up. Okay, so you know you got abs if you can sit slouched in a chair and just lift up your shirt confidently.
All right. So what about you?
That's
going?
No, I'm not gonna do it right now. I'm too. I appreciate it though. Listen, I'm 240 right now, 6'3", and I'm about as big as I ever want to be right now.
Yeah.
So I think I'll try to trim up to maybe 225, something like that. Be in your range.
Good weight for you.
And just be a little leaner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, feel a little better.
Yeah.
If you will. So one thing Corey and I have gotten to know each other a little bit over the last few weeks. We've got some mutual friends, and we just had Devin on the show, and Corey and Devin are friends, and I have a ton of respect for the things that you're doing, the things that you're focused on, specifically because they're things that matter, right? I think there's so many people that are focused on things that just don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
In life, right? So, we're gonna get into some of those things, but I think to help set the stage, I want people to know who you are, and I want people to know why these things matter to you and why you care. So, I know you've had the podcast is called The Roller Coaster. It's probably a good word to describe your life, right?
Definitely.
Let's talk about the time that you found yourself at absolute rock bottom, addicted to drugs, the whole deal. Can you maybe share your story of the events that led up to that?
Yeah. So originally, I'm from Southern Indiana. I don't know what it is about that area. Like opioids and painkillers just take over a lot of people there. So when I was about 17 or 18, I got a prescription from like a generous doctor for Percocets, and I was taking them when I was competing. I said I had back pain. I had a little bit of back pain, but I more so just wanted them. And I got kind of hooked on them then. And then I was lucky enough to end up moving to Arizona. So I kind of stopped taking them before it got too bad. And then I believe it was 2011 is when I really started taking them a lot. I was kind of working security at the W Hotel. And I would start taking one on Friday, one on Saturday. And then before I knew it, I was taking Percocets every single day. I was hooked. I was spending my whole paycheck on them. I mean, I was doing anywhere from 50 to 80 milligrams of opioids a day. I mean, that's a lot of money you're spending on them,
Yeah.
And I was more of like a functioning drug addict. I was always working, like no one really knew. that I was taking them. I've told this before. I would say I was going to be the DD and drive everyone because I wasn't drinking, because I was high on those. I mean, I would mix those with other drugs too. I would take painkillers and coke, do them together. I mean, it's just a recipe for disaster. And I was trying to still compete and put on weight as a bodybuilder the whole time. So I got to the point and to going into 2012 where I would try to wake up in the morning and eat my breakfast and I couldn't even finish it. I would just fall back asleep dead on the couch for 4 to 5 hours. I mean, it was horrible. So I knew at that point something had to change or I was going to, really hurt myself or go to jail.
I think a lot of people that are addicts, they actually have that same thought at some point. They go, something's got to change,
Mm-hmm.
but it usually doesn't.
Yep.
Right. So, what did it take for you to actually not just have the thought, but then actually do the thing to make the change?
I mean, you have to really want to change. I mean, there's so many people, like you said, that want to. You can lead them there, but you can't make them do it. So I had a couple friends that kind of whispered in my ear, like, "Hey, man, like you're having me get these for you. You're getting really bad on these." And there would be times where I'd go to work, I would forget to bring my pills, and I would just be freaking out and need my fix. And I would have an ex girlfriend bring them to me. So once I got to that point, I was so frantic and yelling and freaking out that kind of like made me get a grip. And I had some friends at home that have overdosed and some cousins, so I didn't want to go down that path. So that was the point where I was like, okay, I need to check myself into a rehab center. So then I made the step.
Did they die?
No, luckily, but my cousin is still really bad on drugs at home, and it's horrible. And I know a few people like that.
And once you get there, man, it's not if, it's when,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And that was another thing that stuck in my head.
Yeah. You knew you were going to die.
Yeah, if you keep doing that.
I just had a guest on named Britt. Her episode, when this airs, will have aired the week prior. And yeah, her husband just died from a drug addiction, and it was fentanyl, basically. And
Mm-hmm.
um, not only are people dying from just the known use of fentanyl, hey, it's a pill and I'm putting it in my mouth, but they also, a lot of times they don't even know it's in there,
Yep.
right? They don't even know what they're taking, what they're
Mm-hmm.
putting in their body. I'm not saying drug use is acceptable ever, okay, but if you're going to do it, shouldn't you know at least what you're putting in your body? It feels like this fentanyl thing's gotten a little bit out of hand.
Oh, it's way out of hand. I mean, you could buy Coke or MDMA and something, and it might not even be that. It could just be fentanyl, and then you snort a big line, and boom, you're dead.
Is the reason that that exists is because it's like cheaper to make and bring in here?
That's
Or
what they say, and they gives you a similar feeling like the cartel. That's just what I've heard and read. So, but now I think it's killing their customers, and they're trying to actually cut it out because they're actually losing customers. Everybody's dying because of it.
gosh, man. So, how much of your story and your recovery was actually about going to rehab versus, you deciding and you being the one to take these steps? Like, was rehab really the solution for you? And is this something that you recommend for others that are
Um,
addicted?
yeah, because when you go there, I mean, you're going to have to, take your urinalysis. They're going to drug test you, and you have to stay off of it in order to, they're going to give you Suboxone or something else to come off these painkillers. So I think that's the only way. If you try to do it cold turkey, some people have done it, but I was hooked for over 3 years. I don't think you're going to just come off cold turkey.
Yeah.
So I think I would recommend it.
What is Suboxone?
So Suboxone blocks the receptors of opioids and painkillers, so they will give you that to kind of wean off of them. And then once you take that, you can't feel painkillers anymore. So even if I get a surgery now, like I can't take them, which I never would because I don't ever want to relapse. But it kind of helps you wean off of them.
Like permanently or for a period of time?
I mean, it will in the long run permanently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Talk to me about rehab, right? I think there's I think there's a lot of people, that probably struggle with um, these things, or they have a spouse or a boyfriend or a girlfriend that struggles with these things. And the idea of going to rehab is, there's all sorts of probably taboos and reasons why people never end up exploring that. But what was your experience like there?
I mean, it's rough, man. I mean, it's a tough place to go into. I didn't have to stay there, but I had to go there multiple times per week. And I don't mean to talk down on anyone, but there's some bad people in there, and you just feel dirty going into this place. I
Yeah.
mean, there's people that are way worse than you, that are on meth, that are on heroin, and it's just like when I went to jail, like you just don't want to be in there and you don't want to be around those people. So the sooner you can get it over with, the better.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes the people that work there, they look at you different, they look at you like you're kind of like dirty, like an animal. And I've said this on one of the other podcasts, like anybody can slip up and become a drug addict. You can hang out with the wrong people, you can be from a good family, and you could have a surgery, or you could just be trying to get a high once or twice and be hooked on something. So it's definitely not fun going to rehab, but I think it's necessary.
For sure. Was it after you went to rehab and you kicked it? I mean, how long ago was this?
This was 2012 going into 2013.
Okay, so
So I think
10
I
years.
went, yeah, so about going on 10 years, I haven't relapsed. So yeah, I think I went there for 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that time, were you into physical health, mental health? Were you lifting weights and doing that sort of thing as well? But so you already kind of had
I was always still bodybuilding. Like I started in
all the way through.
2007. I
Yeah.
fell off for a couple years when I was younger and moved to Arizona, and I was partying a little bit too much, but no matter what, if I was getting high on this, on the painkillers or whatnot, I was still always going to the gym because that was my thing. And I had dreams of being a bodybuilder, but it
Yeah.
was definitely interfering. I mean, you're not going to be able to eat all your meals. You're not going to be able to get all your workouts in. So I was still working on my, I guess, physical fitness, but not my mental health.
Yeah. Yeah. So talk to me about you used to put drugs in your body. Um, what are you willing to put in your body now?
Just as far as like
Period.
narcotic or
What goes
anything.
into your mouth
Okay.
now?
So now, I used to take, I was a pro bodybuilder, so it's like putting racing fuel in your car. I mean, I've
Yeah.
taken any compound there was just to get to the level that I wanted to be. But now that I've stepped away from it and I'm trying to just live the healthiest version of myself I can, I do TRT from the doctor. So I'll do testosterone from them. We have to get our blood work done, every 2 months to make sure everything's optimal. And then I'm a big believer in plant medicine as far as like microdosing goes with shrooms. I think it's super beneficial.
Mm,
But away from that, I don't really like to mess around with definitely no narcotics anymore, definitely no painkillers. I will smoke cannabis, here and there, but I keep it pretty simple now just because I've had an addictive personality, I don't want to go down that
for
hole
sure.
anymore.
What about foods and liquids? Like, I mean, to get to this in this kind of shape, you got to be putting like the right stuff in
Of
your body,
course.
right? So what kind of foods are you eating, and will you drink alcohol? Will you drink soda? Like what goes into the body?
I mean, I'm pretty disciplined with my diet. I mean, I try to eat as much whole foods as I can. So I'll eat lean meat, complex carbs. I'll still have, my protein shakes and bars during the day. And I really only have, two cheat meals. I'll have one on Wednesday, halfway during the week after my leg day. And then Saturday, I'll have kind of like a refeed day.
Mm, mm,
I drink maybe once a week. I do like bourbon a lot. I'm a big bourbon guy, but I don't drink much anymore. Never during the week or anything. So
yeah,
there's times I'll go a month or two without drinking though. I don't drink any soda pop, nothing like that.
yeah. So it's water.
Hmm.
Will you drink black coffee?
I'll drink black coffee in the morning. I will have like, Bangs or Reigns or whatever energy drinks. I do like those Celsius.
Okay.
Yeah, the bucked up ones are good. I like those.
You'll do those.
Yeah, I still like those.
Those are
I
controversial,
know.
right?
We
Like,
could sit here and talk
right?
about that. Yeah.
It's like the fake sugars we're hearing potentially could be more harmful and all the shit that they pack into them.
Yep.
But for you, you go, it's not controversial enough for me to not drink them
Yeah.
every
I
once
mean,
in a
I would
while.
way rather do that than go and drink this new coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. It's got like a whopping 180 grams of like sugar in it. This holiday one. It's
Oh,
like a record
stop.
high. They said it was like 2 boxes of donut holes of sugar in one coffee.
No.
My girlfriend just sent me the video earlier.
180 grams.
Yes, it's like an all-time record. I can't believe they let the guy in there to film it. It was insane. But and as far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at my panels, I'm looking at my blood work. Like it's like me having these energy drinks here and there, it's not affecting anything
Yeah.
that I see right now. So I'm okay with it. And I
Yeah.
take pre-workout. So
Yeah.
everything in moderation, obviously.
Yeah. You tried Bucked Up's pre-workout?
What's that?
You tried Bucked Up's
Yeah,
pre-workout?
I think it's good.
They're the sponsor of the show, and so we like when our guests
Yeah.
know their stuff and use their stuff.
I
So
feel like they've blown up, man. It's pretty cool to see.
thank you to our sponsors over at Bucked Up. I love this company. I love their products, their apparel, and their supplements. Recently, they dropped the mother of all pre-workouts, Mother Bucker. This is not for the faint of heart. This will make you want to claw your face off. So don't get stuck in traffic when you're headed to the gym. I love these guys. I love this company, and I love their products. They are clearly the best tasting pre-workout on the entire market, and they're number one for a reason. Bucked Up is my favorite workout brand, hands down. And they also have my favorite apparel for working out and just for daily life. It's Lululemon-like quality, but for a fraction of the price that's affordable. So head over to their site, buckedup.com, where you can check it out. And for 20% off their entire site, use the code TylerHall20. Yeah, they have. They've gotten really big. I want to just circle back on this microdosing thing. What benefits do you see from that?
I feel like when I used to take shrooms, I would just take big amounts and just trip and not really know like what I was doing, not have any purpose for it. So now I think it just gives you more clarity. It helps with stress, anxiety, just stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's great. Many, soldiers have done it, veterans for PTSD.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a ton of benefits. I mean, there's people that have, taken Adderall on a daily basis and switched to microdosing and gotten the same benefits from it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot healthier because it's a plant,
For sure.
So that's what I've noticed the most from it.
Are you pretty functional on it? Like you'll just do it in a normal day
Yeah,
for you?
definitely.
No problem?
Yep. Like I'll, do it after a lunch break. I can microdose and it helps a lot. It keeps you from drinking and stuff too. Like you can go out and microdose and go out to dinner or go to a party, and then you don't have to drink a lot and
Yeah,
be hungover.
because
There's
you still feel good,
yeah,
but you're not. Yeah, for
still
sure.
have good energy, just good bliss, and you're not hungover the next day. So that's what I like about it the most.
That's cool. I like that. Let's talk about what about supplementation? Like, what sort of supplements do you take? You mentioned you do protein. Are you doing whey proteins? Are you
Mm-hmm.
doing creatine? Are you taking EAAs or amino acid? Like,
Yeah.
what sort of supplements go
So
into
I'm
your
a
body?
big believer in creatine. I usually take that before and after my workouts. I take, standard multivitamins, fish oil for heart. I always take my probiotics just for with every big meal, just for digestion. I take liver support daily, and then before bed, my stack is magnesium, glycine, and 5-HTP. So those kind of just help you relax and get deeper sleep. And then 5-HTP is like a neurotransmitter support. So it kind of helps with your mood and everything like that in memory. So I think that's a big one. I've been taking that for years.
Really?
Yeah, it's really
Is it a
good.
pill?
Yeah, it's a pill. Yeah, if we
Amazing.
try it.
And they make this in a powder too, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Seems like they make
you
everything
can
in a
probably
powder
get
now.
any of them in a powder.
Just shake them up.
Mm-hmm.
I used to train with a guy who was, sort of similar, like 15-year bodybuilder, made out of granite kind of guy. And and he had this like concoction that he would mix with his pre-workout that had like 7 things in it.
Mm-hmm.
And every morning he would have all his, just scooping them in there, and it had like collagen and
Yep.
B12. It had just had all these things, and he swore by it.
I
And
do my collagen too, and I swear it helps with your skin and your joints for sure.
really,
I mean, I just started on it 2 months ago, and they have capsules if you don't want to take the powder too. So,
I need to get back on it, man. I think there's always been this perception that collagen's for females,
mm-hmm.
like it's not a male thing.
Yeah.
But I've seen more males talking about collagen, and
Mm-hmm.
then it's a good reminder. I need to get back on that.
Yep.
Let's talk about the pump. So, one thing that I know to be true is when I work out with somebody who really understands how to work out, it changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
The workout could actually hypothetically be less intense or less amount of time, but the subtle movements and twists of the hand and range of like there's a lot more detail, I think,
Mm-hmm.
that goes into building muscle than people realize.
Definitely.
What are your thoughts on this?
So it could be a little bit shorter of a workout, but it's still going to be just as intense. So my style of training now is more like circuit training, hypertrophy. Like back when I was competing, my background was more like strength training,
Yeah.
going heavier, even though there was a little bit of hypertrophy. So now it's a lot of circuit training. I'll do big giant circuits of 3 to 6 exercises, and it's all volumization. We're just trying to like fill these muscle bellies as much as we can with blood. And, even though your strength might not go up that much, you're going to develop the muscles more over time. So that's what I like to do. You're doing shorter rest periods. So you're getting more endurance, developing your muscles more. It's keeping your heart rate a little bit higher. So that's the type of training I do now. A lot of time under tension tempo. So we're doing really slow negatives, controlling the weight, or we're doing like pauses at the top,
Yeah.
or we'll use a lot of bands too for the tension. So
hmm
that's the type of training I usually do with me and the clients.
How do you split your workouts up? Like, are you personally 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and what are your splits?
I'm 5 to 6 days. I ride motocross on Sunday now, so usually I'll take off Saturday, but I still like to do like a chest tri split, back buys, legs by themselves. I'll do shoulders, traps, and then maybe do like a full body day or maybe just an arm day. So that's the type of split I like to do now.
So you running legs once or twice a week?
Usually once, if I do the full body day, I'll throw a little bit of touch up. But when I was competing, I always did 2 leg days, like one full one and one just posterior, like hammies and glutes.
What do you think about like these what do you call them? Like things like arms, calves, abs,
Like accessory stuff.
accessory. What do you
Yeah.
think about that? Like, do you do that? Could somebody do those every day, couple times, 3 times a week? Like, what do you
Yeah. I mean,
recommend
you
for people to work
could,
those?
I would say maybe do them like 2 to 3 times per week, maybe every other day. I mean,
Yeah.
I like to do abs at the end of a lot of workouts, just 10 or 15 minutes to finish. But calves, I would do those maybe twice a week. And then I always do like accessory arm works in my workout. So like if I'm doing chest, I'm doing a little bit of tris. If I'm doing back, I'm doing a little bit of bis. So I'm always hitting arms throughout the week.
Mm,
But as far as abs and calves go, I would do them, every other day would be good. You don't want to be doing them too much because you need to have a little bit of recovery.
yeah. There's this debate that I've had before, which is for your muscles to develop and to grow, do you have to completely tear them and max blood flow and just shred them? Or can I hit my biceps for 10 minutes in the middle of a, back day, for example, and still have growth?
If you're doing it right, you will be tearing them down. Like if I take you through an arm workout, you're not going to be swinging the weight. You're going to be coming up, controlling it, 3 second tempo down. So if you did that just 10 minutes, 3 times a week, I think you would still be able to develop your arms.
Uh,
But you have to have your nutrition dialed in too.
mm,
But if you're just swinging it around, not really focusing on the contraction, then you probably won't be able to.
which one's harder? Great workouts or a great diet?
Well, just depends who you are. I would say for most, I'm going to say 90% of people, the diet's harder.
Yeah.
Yep. They can train all they want, they can do all the extra cardio, but when you try to get them to stay on a plan during the week or even count their macros or calories, it's like pulling teeth. I have so
For
many
sure.
clients. They're like, I don't understand. I'm working out 2 hours a day. Me and my wife are doing an extra hour of cardio. I'm like, what are you eating? Well, I'm eating pretty clean. Well, what is pretty clean? Like, how many times a week are you eating out? This is a never ending argument with clients.
What if you think about a body transformation, what on that same vein, what percentage of a successful body transformation comes from the diet versus workout?
I would say 65 to 70% is the diet.
Nice.
Yeah, like
Because a lot of people go extreme on that. They
oh
go, it's
yeah,
95% diet,
yeah. Our videos going like viral. Where I told Devin like nutrition is more important than the diet. I'm like, there is a small percentage of people that have genetics like me, and we could eat McDonald's every day and still look pretty decent. But inside, I'm probably going to be killing myself. My
Yeah.
blood work and panels are going to be horrible. But if
Yeah.
a normal person tried to do that without supplementation, they're going to look like shit and be overweight no matter how much they're working out.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time. There's some athletes that are doing that, but they have crazy genetics and they're probably taking a pretty hefty cycle of anabolics.
I want to talk about this refeed. So, you're going to get some flack on the refeed from the pros, right?
Yes.
All these nutrition guys out there, I think a lot of them don't believe in a refeed day.
Mm-hmm.
But my guy I was training with for a few years, Jared, he believed in it. And specifically when I was bulking, when I was putting on size, he was good with it. But you're not bulking per se. You're in maintenance, but
Yeah.
you're still willing to do a day of refeed. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe describe what that is for those who don't know
Okay.
and what you do on that day, what kind of foods you're willing to put in and why you think it's important.
So technically, a real refeed would probably be the same type of food you're already eating in your diet and just eating more. So maybe I should say I'm doing cheat meals twice a week so I don't get too much heat for this.
Sure, sure.
So I will do a cleaner refeed on Wednesday after my leg day just because I've expended so many calories. I'll usually do like a thin crust pizza, maybe some sushi. And if you're eating perfect all during the week and you have one or two of these cheat meals, it actually helps speed up your metabolism. So, I mean, it's kind of nice. Like when I eat these, I'm sweating immediately. But it's kind of nice just to
Yeah.
have a little bit of balance, Like you can have a meal with your spouse, your girlfriend, and then on Saturday, I'll splurge, Like I'll have a couple cheat meals, kind of whatever I want. I'll kind of try to keep it in a calorie window, and then I'll have a dessert. Like we like froyo. If I want to have a drink or something at dinner, I'll do it like that. So one, it kind of helps with your metabolism if you're actually sticking to your plan. Two, it's nice to just have a little bit of balance.
You seen this guy named Alex Hormozy on the internet?
Oh, of course. He comes to Independence sometimes when he's in town.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Cool.
I've met Alex a few times. He's a cool dude.
He talks about this, his concept of a diet, right, or managing nutrition is is really about, um, at the end of the day, calories in and calories out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he has this thing where he's like, yeah, I never skip dessert because I just build my dessert into my budget for the
Yep.
day, my caloric budget.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on this take, right? Is this take too simple? I even have a buddy that claims that you could eat 2,000 calories of Skittles a day, and if you're burning 3,000, you're still going to be at a deficit. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that sounds extreme. Like,
Yeah.
where are you at on this?
I think Alex is saying more if it fits your macros, which I don't necessarily agree with because obviously he's got it figured out with his genetics and his supplementation. But if most people did that and had the desserts every day, they would not stay that lean or have
Yeah.
the results that he has. So I
Yeah.
guess it just depends who you are. But for 90% of the people, you need to be able to like balance out with more whole foods and not eat sweets every day.
Yeah.
And the Skittles thing, that's not healthy. That's crazy.
Oh
There's
man.
no way.
So I want to, for the audience who doesn't know you, what is it that you do now, right? I think your life is probably filled with quite a bit of meaning because you're doing things that matter,
Hmm.
right? So what are those things?
So as far as like career right now,
Yeah.
yeah. So I guess fitness professional, personal trainer would be my title. We train out of two private gyms in Scottsdale. I have a little team I've built under me. We do in-person training. We do group training. I still do contest prep, even though I'm like semi-retired from bodybuilding. Still train a lot of competitors. I have an app that you can use if you're out of state or even out of the country. So we put your workout programs in, your cardio plan. I write the nutrition programs. I help out with posing when I can for some of the male clients. And then if I don't have time, I'll have someone help with them. And then I have a few friends that help with the female clients as posing. And then if someone's going through something, I try to be the best, friends that slash therapist as I can and help them with that too.
Yeah.
So I would say almost therapist is one of my other titles.
What do you think about so I coach CEOs, right? You coach people that are looking to transform their mental and physical health, right? Because I do believe that these things are tied in many ways. I coach CEOs, and if you ask my CEOs, like, what percentage of these coaching sessions are business coaching versus therapy,
Mm-hmm.
they would say it's probably like 50-50.
Yeah.
But it's controversial because it's like I'm not a licensed therapist.
Yeah.
And a lot of what we do on the podcast feels like therapy. We're talking
Mm-hmm.
about really deep and meaningful things. So, what are your thoughts on that? Like sort of towing the line of being a therapist while not being like a licensed certified
Yeah.
therapist.
I mean, I'd say the sessions for me, I mean, because I talk to people more than they talk to their spouse or their better half sometimes. So I would say it's like 60-40 fitness and therapy sometimes,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
And then I try not to give too much medical advice or step over those lines, but I'll just try to help them where I can. Or if I've been through something they're going through with mental health, then I'll just try to give them a little bit of guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you do this?
Um, I love it. I mean, I think I'm passionate about helping people. Like I first got into fitness and bodybuilding just because I loved it. It kind of took me out of some dark times, but I love just being able to see people happy when they're making transformations or if they're making a transformation mentally. It just gives me a good feeling inside.
Hmm.
I just love being able to help other people and just making other people happy, I guess.
So Is that the reason why you become a lot more active on social media over the
Definitely.
last, period of time? Just
Hmm.
because, I feel this way often, which is the one-on-one is great. Sitting down on a podcast, right? I mean, we're actually doing this to amplify our voice, but the behind closed doors one-on-one coaching with the CEOs or one-on-one coaching in a gym, it's great for sure. But when you can have a message that is heard by hundreds of thousands, millions of people, that's going to change a lot of lives, right? That's like a whole other level. So is that really what it's about for you creating content now?
Definitely. If I can just motivate or inspire as many people as I can with the time I have, then that's like my ultimate goal.
What's one of the coolest messages you've gotten from a fan that reached out because you really helped their life?
Well, I don't know if they're a fan, but we'll call it that. Someone I inspired. I've had people, you know, that have been damn near suicidal clean up their act, get off the drugs. Someone told me they never thought that I had went through addictions or struggles, and they literally checked themselves into rehab just because they heard some of my story. So that was awesome. That was touching, man.
Yeah,
So
that's
I love
powerful.
hearing stuff like that.
You ever seen that guy on TikTok that'll go, he's like drives around in his truck and he'll like pull up to homeless people and roll his window down. He was a former addict
No.
and he just talks to him. I'll show you after this, and it's it's super inspiring, man. Like he doesn't tell them out of the gate like I was an addict, but he's like, "Hey man," and the guy walks over thinking he's going to give him money, and he's
Yeah.
like, he's like, "You need money?" He's like, "Why do you need money?" He's like, "I'm hungry." He's like, "Really? Is that really what you're going to spend this on?" And he'll just probe and probe and probe until he gets them to be vulnerable and open up and be like, "Dude, I need the next bump. I need the next hit."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like he tries to literally employ these people. So he has a business where he can take these people off the street, get them a job, and help them get clean.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
it's just a cool, yeah. I'll show you the guy. It's
Yeah, I
super
want to check that
inspiring.
out. That's cool.
So
Yeah, I want to get into that, like going and speaking at group homes or rehab or addiction centers and talk to people and like spread the word. Because if I went in there, like most of the people would never think that I've been in their seat,
for sure,
and people still don't know that. That's why I'm trying to be as transparent as I can with these podcasts and really just open up and just share the story with it.
yeah, for sure. I talked to a friend who was on the show recently named Dan Martell, and you've probably seen him on the internet. He's gotten really he's really blown up the last couple of years, and um, he spends a lot of time in rehab centers specifically for youth, right? And he finds a ton of purpose in spending his time doing this. Very successful guy, could be spending his time doing anything, and chooses once or twice a month to go and speak and give his time to these people. And he said something that really stuck out to me, which is like, I don't care. Like, show me what you do with your time, not your money. He's like, you're Bill
Mm.
Gates. You can invest $1 billion in this philanthropic thing, but that doesn't mean anything to me if you're not willing to give your time,
Yep.
right? And so, I asked him. I said, man, I'd love to spend more time like doing something similar. Like I have a story that I think can inspire and help a lot of these people as well. And I said, how do you encourage somebody to go and do that, right? Like you just said. And he goes, dude, it's work. Like you have to, if you actually care, Corey, you have to go find out where are these facilities, who are running them, who do I need to call to say I want to come and do this, and here's why. And he goes, it's not, people aren't just going to call you and be like, hey, come speak to our
No.
group once a month. Like you have to go and put in the effort.
Yeah.
And I feel ashamed that since I did that interview with Dan 3 or 4 weeks ago, I literally haven't taken an action on this.
Yep.
It's just sat, and
It's
I
all
still
about
think
your
about it.
effort. I agree.
But same with you, man. I would challenge you to, like, if you want to do that, you should go do it.
Yep.
And I think it'd be amazing.
And I regret that I haven't done more with it now too.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the goal going into this year and even finishing out this year is to do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, brother, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. I want to just kind of close with you know, for people who want to be healthy, okay, I think that's the entire population. I think deep down, somebody could lie to you and be like, I don't care. I'm happy being, blah, like whatever. I think
Mm-hmm.
most people want to be healthy.
Yep.
What words of advice, words of encouragement do you have for the world who wants to be healthy?
It's all about mindset, you know, and effort. If you have average mindset, average effort, you're going to get average results. You know, you got to be willing to be relentless. I mean, I put that on there, being authentic for a reason. Just be relentless towards your goals. And if you really want to make it happen, you will put in the effort. You know, you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, you know, because like they said, it's cliche, but just a diamond's created under pressure. So if you really want to make the results or really want to get the results, you're going to make it happen, you know, whether that's with your mental health, your training, your nutrition, you just got to put in maximum effort. So that's the best thing I could tell anyone going through it.
Amazing. Corey, thank you for coming on the Roller Coaster podcast today. I appreciate it, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.